Howdy friends, welcome to CIS 2141. Sorry for the delay here. It's not been a great start to 2024 between getting a sinus infection, getting sick again, and then losing the internet. Oh man, it's been a rough week, so hopefully you're doing all right. Thank you for your patience, and missing most of this week is not going to be a big deal. We'll be able to get caught up. This is let's get the tools installed, let's do the little hello world like you do with every programming language and get to know each other. So apologies, but I think we'll be okay. Oh, hi, I'm Eric, Eric Chinesky. Nice to meet you. This is my college email address. If you email me here, it'll go to my phone. Like any good millennial, I'm addicted to this. My little guy does watch YouTube Kids on it occasionally, so most of the time it's on me though. So email me. You are welcome to call or text me. I've got 7 kids. I can't talk right now. I have 7 kids at home and I'm rather busy, so I might not answer, but if you leave me a voicemail, let me know what time is good to call you back. If you like talking at 11 p.m. because it's quiet at your house like it is at mine, I can call you back at 11 p.m. most of the time. If you want me to call you back before you go to work early in the morning, there's a chance I might still be up. Other than that, we'll find a time that'll work. So I do have some standing office hours. You can reserve those via this really cool Calendly page here. So you go to the website here and it lets you click on a day and see what times are available, and then it blocks them off my calendar to make sure I don't get double booked. So these are in 15-minute increments. I've got about 150, a little less now because some of these classes are a little smaller. Probably about 100 students or so this semester. So I do try and aim for about 15 minutes or so. So Monday afternoons, Wednesday afternoons, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10:30 to 11:30 p.m. Notice it is p.m. because that's when it's quiet at my house after the kids are in bed and after most people have their evening classes and those sorts of things. If those don't work for you, let me know. I can probably try and make a different time work that does work for you, but let me know. Most people want to meet on Zoom. Here we have some pretty good screen sharing tools. We both don't have to drive out to Farmington Hills, where my office is at the Orchard Ridge campus. And it's even closed at this time anyway for the evening hours. But if you do want to meet up Monday or Wednesday, let me know in advance. Happy to meet you on campus if that's your thing too. About our course, it's online asynchronous. That doesn't mean it's do it at your own pace. That means you don't have to come to campus and there's not, hey, you have to do it Monday evenings, right? So there's still due dates every week. But it's sort of at your own pace throughout the week. I had one person contact me like 10 weeks into a class. They're like, oh, I thought asynchronous meant I could do it whenever I wanted and, finish the last 3 weeks of the semester. So, it doesn't really work like that. So it sort of does, but not really the way we have deadlines and do things. And, it's better kind of if we work together so we can bounce ideas off of each other anyway. So this is copy paste from the course catalog. It shouldn't be any typos there if I did it right. There are no prereqs for this class, which is kind of fun. So you may or may not have done any coding. Hopefully, if you're following the recommended program plan here for the data science program, you're also taking Python, and you'll have done some programming. If not, it's okay. We're not really learning to program like I might say like computer scientists learn to program, but we're learning how to use R for data science. So we're doing programming in R, but the goal of what we're learning is the data science, or how to do data science-y sort of things here, which is really fun. And we get into all these things we're talking about here. Here's my fun list of things here. Structuring, transforming, visualizing, and modeling data, which is really cool. And then some educational outcomes. We will do lots of critical thinking, applying knowledge to the assigned task. We're going to learn how to do lots of cool things in R, and we're going to apply those things to the tasks that we have assigned, which is great. And then some course-specific outcomes. We'll use our IDE to develop a running R program. We'll run and edit the program, be able to use the debugger. We'll define constants and variables for primitive data types, understand these variables related. This is kind of boring for me to read to you, I'm sorry. You can read it here. We'll write R code, read to and write files from disk. We will use common data structures here. We'll visualize data using common charts and graphs. We will apply data investigation techniques to structure, transform, visualize, and model data, and then the general education outcome piece here. So lots of fun. The textbooks we're going to use. Oh, my font didn't change here. Shoot. We've got 2. The first one here is this hands-on programming with R. This is sort of the let's learn a little bit about what programming is. This is just a free website here. So we go through 3 projects essentially to get up to speed on using R. And then we'll flip over to R for data science, which is also free here, which is fantastic. And now we're going to start applying this to data visualization, data transformation, data tidying, data import. So we spend a little bit of time at the intro portion, and then we take deeper dives into visualization, transformation, importing data, and programming. This last little bit on Quarto, I can't pronounce this one here, apologies, is super cool. I'm not going to get into this one because this is more of a, after you know how to do all these things, this just gives you a nice little way to kind of package it all together. So those are our two main textbooks. We also have some really cool material available from the library. We've got access to essentially any O'Reilly book out there, which is really cool. I'll send you the link for that later. GitHub, Discord, Twitch are public services. Use whatever handle you want. It doesn't have to be a real name because we're going to use a lot of tools. So GitHub is a hosting provider of the Git source control tool, the most widely used source control tool by programmers. It's fantastic. I'm fond of the GitHub desktop client, which lets us commit and synchronize our copy of a repository, which is just a folder, to the cloud-based repository hosted on github.com. So you'll need a GitHub account. It's free. Please don't pay for anything here. If you do sign up with your edu address, they'll offer you some free stuff, or you can ask for some free stuff, which is cool free stuff, but we don't need the free stuff. Discord for office hours, not really for office hours, we can do that over Zoom, but I've got a class-specific channel set up. You can join the Discord server, accept the rules with a little React emoji, and then you can join the specific class channels you want with other specific React emojis. It's kind of fun. This one's great. Also goes to my phone here, and a good place. So this is sort of the, if you want to ask a question, everyone in the class gets to see the question and the answer. So I'm fond of Discord for that. And it's got channels for memes. If you want to post your memes, it's got channels for other cool stuff out there as well. We're going to use R. So you can get that from the rproject.org, cran.rproject.org. And we're also going to use RStudio from our friends at Posit here. They have a cool web thing, but you have to like sign up for it, and it's kind of annoying. And it's probably just easier for us to do R locally here. If you don't want to download stuff locally, you can use the virtual desktop, which actually might not have RStudio installed. I got to double check with our IT folks about that since this is a new class here. And I had to ask for those things like last summer, and I'm not that far thinking ahead. So if this is what you want to use, let me know. I can figure something out for you pretty quick. Course-specific policies on assessment policies and procedures. So plagiarism and cheating, I am rather a stickler about this here because I don't think cheaters should get degrees. And hopefully all of you agree as well, because if someone cheats their way through school and doesn't actually learn to do anything, when they get hired, that employer is going to think OCC does a terrible job educating people and won't want to hire other OCC graduates. So you don't want your classmates to cheat and get degrees because it devalues your degree. Okay, so the consequence of engaging in academic dishonesty is failing the class and being reported to the dean's office. There are no zeros, there are no try-agains, if you engage in academic dishonesty, you will fail the class. I will do my best to make sure cheaters don't get degrees. Now, I can't promise I'm going to catch everyone, but most of the time, people who are learning how to code and learning new languages don't give me code that you would often find online, because the people who write the code online have been doing it for a long time. So just looking at it, it's relatively quick for me to notice something doesn't add up right. That being said, if you're not sure, ask me. I understand websites exist like Stack Overflow. I understand there are tools like ChatGPT out there. I'm a big fan of tools, right? I am a very lazy person, and I mean that in the nicest sense of the term. I tell everyone good programmers are lazy. We are efficiently lazy. We don't want to do more work than we need to. That being said, though, this is academia. You have to cite your sources, right? The idea here is academic dishonesty is plagiarism, or plagiarism is a part of academic dishonesty. Turning in someone else's work with your name on it is plagiarism. So you have to cite your sources. Now, just like any good English paper here, you have to have original effort. You can't just give me one giant quotation mark or quotation and say, here's my paper. Right? That's not going to fly in an English class. It's not going to fly in a programming class. So you can use tools that are out there like ChatGPT. You can use other websites like Stack Overflow. Great. You're going to cite your source and you're going to add original effort. And as these tools become more efficient for programmers, this is what you're going to do in the real world. All the quick and easy stuff that computer can do for us. We're going to do the hard work, the critical thinking, the how do I put these pieces together to actually bring value and solve the problems that I'm trying to solve. So that being said, one website or class of websites like Chegg.com, Course Hero, other places like that are completely banned. You may not use them at all. They are terrible people. Chegg has a, quote, tutoring service you can pay for, which is essentially a do your homework for money service. They are awful people. They have the ability to take my questions and projects and exams and keep them off their website. But they'll only do it for 24 hours if I ask nicely. After that, they say, F you, Eric, we're going to make money off of this. So no, I hate them. They're awful people. If I want to get some of our material taken off their website, I have to go get a piece of paper signed by my dean and send it to them. And then half the time they still tell me no. So Chegg is just awful. And putting material from your class on their website is actually a violation of copyright policy, right? Our material is copyright, so you can't just go give someone else's copyright material to Chegg and have them go use it and make money off of it. So just stay off of it. Life will be so much better, please. Yeah, so ChatGPT, go for it, but you're going to cite your source. So citing ChatGPT is a little tricky here because you don't always get like, here's a website, right? Because it was a conversation you had. So what I'm going to ask you to do is cite the prompt that you used. And I'll show you how to do that when we write our R programs. Don't worry about it. We'll get there as we go. And again, it's original effort. So just like in the English paper, the bulk of the work has to be yours. So I'm going to say at least 50% of the code has to be yours that you've been working on. If you want to cite your source or quote or use other pieces here, the other 50%, perfectly fine. But you are doing your original effort to put these pieces together. And again, if you're not sure, ask me. You are welcome to ask me at any point in time up until you hit the submit button. Once you hit the submit button, you're asserting this is your work. Right? If you haven't submitted it, you're just working on it. I can look at it for you and we can talk about it together. You can say, hey, this, I got it from over here. I want to use this piece. This is the part I did, and we'll talk about it. Make sure you have your citations before you hit the submit button. And we're happy. I'm happy to do that. You just got to ask. This is a copy paste from the handbook, the OCC, Code of Conduct. Make sure you're keep the classroom corridors quiet. It's a copy paste. I apologize. All right, so what most people care about, how do you get your score in the class here? I like to use a weighted system. So we'll have weekly lab assignments. The idea with the lab assignments is if this were an in-person class, I would probably spend 2 to 3 hours talking, showing you stuff, and the last hour say, hey, go try this. And by the way, work with your partner, work with the person next to you. If you want to triple up in your row, go for it. So the labs will be done on discussion forums. So that's the best way I have currently, using the tools that we have where you can sort of work together. So you'll be posting some code or posting a question here, and you'll pick someone, or you always use the same person to work with for those discussions. And then what's fun about that is everybody gets to see everyone else's code because everyone's going to kind of tackle this a little bit differently. And then later I'll go solve them. So you'll see how everyone else did it, you'll see how I did it, and you get a chance to see lots of different R code as we go, because one of the cool things about data science is there are so many things out there already that we can look at and view, and people are great about sharing their stuff here, that we want to learn how to read the code so that we can go and modify and tweak it and apply it to our problems and our data and that sort of stuff. And we'll have projects that's worth 30% of your overall score, so a big chunk of your score here. We'll be working on projects. We're going to do 4 projects throughout the semester. Now you'll have 2 weeks to work on them, so that if something happens, like, hey, you get sick or lose power like I did, hopefully it's not the very last day before it's due, because you've had 2 weeks and you started early, like everybody should, right? Although I'm saying this, a week after things are supposed to have started. So I'll be understanding where I can, but generally when projects are due, I'll post solutions. And after I've posted a solution, I can't take it late. We'll do quizzes on the chapters. Not every chapter will have its own quiz, but like every week's worth of content, we'll have a quiz there. Honestly, these are to get you to read the text. So you're probably going to have to spend some time reading, not just listening to the things I said. So those get you to go and read the book. They're open book, open notes, open internet. The goal is you just have to go find where that information is if you don't know it off the top of your head, because that's okay. No one has ever asked me when I was in a professional setting to do a project off the top of my head, because that'd be stupid. Why would I not use the resources and use all the things that I can go look up to solve problems and be better at solving problems? And we'll have 1 exam, a midterm, not worth very much. I don't have a previous midterm to show you because this is the first time the class ran, but we'll do a little practice exercise. I'll show you, hey, this is what a question might look like. They're meant to be short and sweet so that if I wanted you to take them in an in-class period where I could sit and watch you take it, you could. I don't like doing that, and again, I don't think anybody should memorize anything, so you'll have the whole week to do it, just like the quiz, open book, open notes, but this is sort of the checkpoint. Like, after you've gone through the bulk of the material, we'll have this midterm checkpoint. If it goes well for you, you should feel like you're in pretty good shape. If it goes badly for you, you know that you need to readjust some things here and start putting some more time in if you want to pass the class. After that, we'll have the final project. This will be about the last month of class, and this is worth 40% of your score. This is huge. This is in lieu of a final exam. This is, let's put it all together here and do something interesting, and you're going to present it over Zoom. We don't have to meet in person if you don't want to. To me, hopefully we can get together with the class like a couple different times, and maybe 2 or 3 people can make each one of those times. It would be really fun, because it would be cool to see what other people did. But you'll present it, we'll talk about it, and that'll be the bulk of your score here. So it's designed so you can't pass the class without the final project. That's why it's worth so much. The percentage scale here should be pretty standard. End marks, if you don't turn anything in an online class that is gradable work, like a quiz or a discussion, by the end date you get an N and you get removed from the class. I'll warn you before that happens. I don't take stuff late without prior approval. Again, I go over solutions, so let's work on keeping up here. Again, the projects have 2 weeks, so ideally we start early. And then other copy-paste things, standard FERPA things, the ADA, contact the Access Office, please. The Academic Support Center has free tutoring. Now, generally, to tutor for a class, you have to have taken it. So we don't have a tutor for this class because no one has taken it before. After that, hopefully we can start recruiting some tutors and go from there. The library has some great links here. We can look at that. Generally, I'd like to grade stuff within a week of when it's due. If you read Rate My Professor, I'm terrible at this. This semester will be better. I'm off to a great start already, but should be good. If you don't hear from me within 24 hours, please reach out again. I likely just missed your notification because my little guy swiped it or I lost it in the pile. You're not bothering me. Please reach out again, and I'll do what I can. And here's the plan. So we'll go through the hands-on programming in R for the first 4 weeks here, the appendix, getting things installed, and then chapters 1 through 3, 4 through 8, 9 through 12, with our first 2 projects on, let's just do some intro to R, learning how to use R here. Then we get into R for data science, and we start taking a few chapters at a time. So we'll do the data visualization and workflow, data transformation and workflow, data tidying and workflow, and we'll have midwinter break, data import and workflow, and then we'll do our midterm. So that's essentially the first bulk of the class here. We'll do our midterm, this is our checkpoint, and then we'll come back from that. We'll work on visualizing, spend some time transforming, working on importing, programming, and we work on that final project all through March and April, and we'll present them sometime around 4/25. That's a Thursday. We technically have up until the end of the semester on the following Monday, so we got a little bit of time to get that scheduled for you to present here. So if it does change, I'll let you know. I'm looking forward to it, folks.